Hey everybody, Double B Billy Boudreaux here, coming at you with another installment of Double B's Top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, this time around, the top 5 will be the top 5 favorite original Game Boy games. I mean original. I'm talking about the white bulky Game Boy, had no color, you had to be under a light or by a window to play. That Game Boy game. So coming in at number 5, well, it's going to sound a little familiar, but it was number 5 on my NES titles, and of course it's going to be number 5 here on my original Game Boy titles, because just like its NES counterpart, Tetris was just as addictive on the Game Boy as it was on the Nintendo. The neat thing is, if you had one of those multiplayer hookups where you can connect Game Boy to Game Boy, you can actually have two-player battles on Tetris on the Game Boy, but playing it by itself was again just as addictive as its NES counterpart. So of course I had it, I played it, and I wanted it on my list. So that game is up there. Number 4 is Kirby's Dream Land, and I'm talking excuse me, original Kirby. I'm talking about black and white Kirby, where his only abilities were to suck up his enemies and either spit them out as a star, or take a deep breath of air and float a little bit and then shoot like a cloud or an air bullet, I think was what it called. And I played that game over and over again. And I remember it being 4 levels. But it was just 4 levels of excitement, and it was fun to play, and I thoroughly enjoyed Kirby. Now, not many people remember Kirby's original, his origins, where he began. But he began on the Game Boy in Kirby's Dream Land. Now, this is before all the power-ups, all the spin-offs, the takes on it and whatnot. Kirby started in Kirby's Dream Land, and that's always going to be one of my personal favorites, and that's why it's up on the list, number 4. Number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. You want to talk about addictive replay value of a game. This one was highly addictive. Replay value extraordinarily high. I loved it. Anything that had Mario to do in it, I loved. And this title was indeed one of them. Now, it's fairly common to see different power-ups in each Mario game. What I found unique about this one, I mean, we've all seen the power leaves, we've seen the super leaves, the fire flowers, the feathers and stuff like that. Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, had a power carrot, which gave Mario bunny ears, which allowed him to hover. Yeah, it's unique. It's one of the few power-ups you really don't hear about too often, unless you have played the game. And of course, the Fire Flower made its installment in there. What I found unique about Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, the enemy was Wario at the end. I'm talking about W-A-R-I-O. Now, we're used to the common enemy in any Super Mario game being Bowser Koopa. In this one, it was different. Wario was different because he could actually get the same kind of powers as Mario did. I mean, I remember him starting off with, I think he might have started off with the power carrot. Then he went to the fire flower, and then that was just basic Wario, and then you beat him like that. Or it might be some other way. It's been such a long time since I looked at that game, but it deserves its spot on my top 5 favorite original Game Boy game titles. So Mario is up there. Ladies and gentlemen, a unique title has made its way onto my list. It's Yoshi. Now, what I found unique and highly fun about this game, it kind of resembled Dr. Mario. For those of you who played Dr. Mario, you know what I'm talking about, where you have to line up like certain pills on certain, I guess I have to call it germs on there. Now, I guess the premise of Yoshi on the original Game Boy game, again, I'm using my basic memory, it has like the same premise as Dr. Mario, except there are no germs. What it is like there's like different Mario characters that were thrown in and everything, and if you would match them up on the way down, they would disappear. But however, if you had like a bottom egg, a bottom of the of an egg, and you would let it build up, and then you would have the top egg come down. It would come all the way down, and it would form a Yoshi. Now, depending on how many different things you had in the egg, is how many what your bonus points were and how big the Yoshi got. If you just went from bottom egg, top egg, it was a tiny Yoshi. If you had like a bottom egg, you had like stuff up to the middle, and then you drop it off. You had like a medium-sized Yoshi. And if you had like a bottom egg and you would let it just build up, and then you would have a top egg, and it would come all the way down, you have like a gigantic Yoshi, and you get like a whole ton of points. I love doing that on the game. I love doing it. It takes a lot of patience to wait for the bottom egg, then the top egg. I'll tell you that right now. That's what I remember most. It took a lot of patience to get it, but when you did, and you would see all of those things come down and the egg would form, and you have Yoshi hatch out, big Yoshi, and you get like a ton of points. That was fun to see. So Yoshi is number 2 on my list of top 5 favorite original Game Boy games. Ladies and gentlemen, topping the list is the first game I ever played on the Game Boy, and is Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge. I had so much fun playing this game. I don't know how many hours I've spent in that game, but it was just so much fun to do. What was unique about the Mega Man titles on the Game Boy, especially the first Mega Man, is the fact that on its NES counterparts, there would be, I believe, about 8 robots for you to go through, when on the Game Boy games there would be 4. And in the first one, it's Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge. It was Electman, Cutman, Fireman, and Iceman. And then I believe when you get to Dr. Wily's stage, there were robots from Mega Man 2 in there that you had to clear before you can also get into Dr. Wily in the bonus stage. And I believe it was Quickman, Bubbleman. Oh, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Again, guys, it's been a long time. I might have been Heatman. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the last one. If you guys out there know who the last one is, leave it in a comment below. That would really help. Because, again, guys, original Game Boy game. The Game Boy I got back when I was like 12 years old. That's how long ago it was. But the first stage I played over and over again. It was Electman, and when I finally beat him and got the password, I felt like it was a big achievement on my part. Like I kind of felt like I beat the game, because when I first got the Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge, that's basically Mega Man 1 of the original Game Boy. I spent countless hours trying to cover the first stage. Now, normally you would always have your pick, but for some reason I just had a certain way of things, and I wanted to do Electman first, and I just spent so many. I spent like hours and hours trying to cover that first stage. And then when I finally did, it kind of gave me the accomplishment that I beat the game when I really hadn't. But I just beaten the Elect Man stage. I still had Cut Man, Ice Man, and Flame Man to go. And the other stages weren't as hard to me after I defeated Elect Man stage. And when I got to Dr. Wily stage, it was rather unique. And then when I finally beat the game, I'm like, wow, I actually beat this game. It's really, really good. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge on the original Game Boy game is #1 on my top 5 original Game Boy game titles. My favorite list. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this video. Quick reminder, all images you have seen are copyright of Nintendo, and are no copyright infringement is intended, and the images were used for entertainment and informational purposes only. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night.